Do you know what Wata Gwaan is? Where you can get news about the Jamaican culture and just learn about how Jamaicans are doing, as I said, yard and abroad.
You get to learn a new Jamaican patois word or even a Jamaican phrase.
I look forward to the patois word of the day.
The patois word is pasa pasa.
Word today is taco ram.
Our word of the day is duffy.
Twang. No little twang. Not true.
I enjoy tuning in to What A Gwaan.
It happens every Friday at 7 p.m. So check them out. And bye from Toronto.
Dans Québec et la Jamaïque, écoute What A Gwaan. Yes, What A Gwaan.
I am a big fan of What A Gwaan.
Relevant and entertaining, so keep up the good work.
Watch What A Gwaan.
Big up yourself. What A Gwaan.
What A Gwaan. Yes, What A Gwaan.
Watch What A Gwaan.
Always say I'm going to What A Gwaan in a yard. Check it out. 7 p.m. every Friday. Hello, everybody. What a Gwaan. Welcome back for the 2023 season of What a Gwaan. And guess who's back? I guess I can sing Eminem now. Guess who's back? Back again. Well, it's your girl, Nicole. It's your girl from Bongo Town. If you remember, it's the girl from the town within the town within the town. And it's time for What a Gwaan. So remember, call your friend, your neighbor, your enemy. Just tell everybody that What a Gwaan starts. So time to tune in. So I am Nicole, I said that earlier. So I'm a settler here in Treaty 7, Calgary, or Mokinsis. I work with the Women's Center Calgary, and my role there is a social issues coordinator, so heavily involved in community development work. And I'm also heavily involved in the Jamaican Association here in Calgary. So if you haven't been there, we're located at 3208 8th Avenue Southeast. So come on, check out us. We have a nice little building and we do a lot of things over there. So come on out and check us out. So again, this is 2023, guys. Can you believe it? February is almost over and it's Black History Month also. And What a Gwaan is back. I'm excited and I hope everybody's also too. And I want to give a special shout out to all the folks listening over there on Fresh FM London. Yes, darling, it's London, or should I say might, right? So me have to go work on my London accent. So for those who are listening on Fresh FM, they can hear me. You know, you understand? You can hear me like an accent. So also, What a Gwaan are the big things. 2023, big things are going. So What a Gwaan is now available as a podcast. And you can find us on Podbeam, Google, Amazon, iHeart, Play FM, and all other major podcasting platforms. So remember to check us out. You can also connect with us on our website at www.whatagwaan.ca. So that's www.whatagwaan.ca. Again, February is Black History Month. And this year, the theme for Black History Month is Black Resistance. And today we will be focusing on the topic of honoring the past and building the future. And we'll be talking to none other than Assistant Professor Marva Ferguson from Mount Royal University that is located here in Calgary or Mokinsis. And she will be chatting with us in just a few minutes. But before we go any further, this is my absolute most favorite time of the show, and it is patois time. So in this episode, in this segment of the show, we'll be sharing a patois word or a patois phrase from none other than the beautiful island of Jamaica. And today's word is mumu or miu miu. Yesterday was the first time ever see or hear the word here. I want to know which part me come from down a Bongo Town. We have a special brand of patois, but that one ain't reach Bongo Town yet. So what I want you folks to do is to tell me the word. It would be nice if me can hear. I'm not going to be able to hear the pronunciation if I'm saying it right, if it's Mumu or Mew Mew. So please write the word, tell me what it means, and put it in a sentence. Let me hear it, because as I said before, never hear before. So I have no clue. So please tell me, all right? We want to engage with you more. So ensure that you know live up the thing by dropping comments. You know, keep the comments coming so the thing can be lively, right? So since What A Gwaan is just starting for 2023, but if you want to know what we're doing at 2024, follow us on all the different social media platforms. So we're on the Facebook, we're on the Gram, we're also on YouTube, LinkedIn, and we'll have website. So again, in order to make the thing go even more national than it national, like, follow, subscribe, do all the things then, right? So remember, check us out. All right. So now it's time for us to share some things that is happening across Canada. So some upcoming events. So down there in Winnipeg, the Afro-Caribbean Association of Manitoba will be hosting a Black History Poetry Slam on Sunday, February 26th, and that's located at 253 Watt Street in Winnipeg. The event is free and it starts at 2 p.m., so check it out. Here in Calgary, the Caribbean Association of Calgary will be hosting a Black History Month celebration on Saturday, March 4th at the Thorncliffe Community Center, and that is located at 5600 Center Street North, and that starts at 5. The theme for that is honoring the past and building the future. That is also a free event, so please check it out. Another event that is happening here in Calgary is the Ethnic Festival of Arts and Culture tomorrow, and that's happening February 25th at TELUS Convention Center. It starts at noon and will be featuring local acts plus Queen of Soca, none other than Alison Hines, and that should be good. Ghanaian dancehall sensation Samini and Grammy Award-winning artist Donald Ray Johnson. So if you want to get tickets, go to Ethnic Festivals, and Ethnic is ETHNIK. So ethnicfestivals.com for tickets and for also more info. And just for a little tips and news from Dongayard, that the local government election that has been postponed to February 2024. So if you want to go home and vote, you can plan your vacation during that time and go home to vote. Now, stay tuned for a local advertisement. Okay, so the Jamaican Association of Montreal is hiring a coordinator for their Footstep program. That role will help to create and offer activities for children online and in person. The perfect candidate should have studied and have experience in social work and a daycare setting. If you're interested, call Diane at 438-390-7763 for more information. All right, so now another favorite part of the show for me also is time to all a little reason. And we're going to be doing that with none other than former Prezi himself, Mr. Donovan Simon. So it's now time to all a reason.
This has been a great discussion. Nicole.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
We're there upon the gully side. Well,
Not go to the bongo
no
town.
we make my
Anyway,
own gully.
you make your own gully. Well,
Mhm.
welcome back to A Gwaan. Good to
Yes.
see you. Nice energy and the rest of it. We're going to talk some things today because it's Black History Month.
Yes, it is.
And
Looking forward to the discussion.
we'll get into some of the things. I mean, there's lots of events happening, so hopefully the people watching the program will go out. If you have not gone yet, February soon done, that they go out and watch, participate, support the things. More importantly, truly celebrate Black History. I'll get into that a little bit. So I'm going to do a little reasoning with Marva, and I'll come back later. We can go on.
Yeah,
that,
man.
right?
Cool. Have a good conversation.
Cool. Folks, greetings. Welcome back to another year, another season of What A Gwaan National. And we want to especially welcome those who are listening to us on Fresh FM London and whoever is going to consume our podcast wherever you are. Today we're going to be discussing Black History Month, but primarily focused on a theme that's the Caribbean associations here in Calgary are looking at, honoring the past and building on the future. And it's my pleasure to invite Marva Ferguson to join us as we discuss the topic. Marva, welcome to What A Gwaan again.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Donovan. I was really enjoying the conversation that was happening earlier, especially about the word mumu. Because, I mean, it's a familiar word. I'm listening to Nicole, and she said she doesn't know what mumu means. But it's a word that I've heard. And as a matter of fact, I had a neighbor who we used to refer to her as mumu. Her name was Mrs. Martin. So I used to hear it as a child. And also, I just want to take the time to congratulate you on a new season of What A Gwaan. I think that you have been doing an excellent job in communicating with the rest of the community. So good work.
I appreciate that, and thanks for the support. And you know what? It is important that we started the new season like we did last year in Black History Month. Black History Month is celebrated in North America in February. So let's put that in context. It's celebrated in other places. In fact, in the UK, it's in October, right? And maybe we should start the conversation, Marva, around the need and the value and the benefits of celebrating Black history. Like, what's your take on the need and the value of celebrating Black history?
You know, and it's interesting that you're asking that question because oftentimes I will get the question as to what's behind Black History Month. It's a month of the year that originated in the States, and it was in 1926 that Carter G. Woodson, and I'm reading here, who launched a week-long celebration of Black history in the United States. And then in 1976, President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month. And thereafter, it was accepted in Canada, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. It is very significant because it is 1 month out of the year that is put aside or is used to honor the work and the history of Black people. And I think it is important that we also take into consideration that, you know, our lives happen every single day of the year, but it's 1 month that is set aside to honor our Black history.
Do you think the community, and in this, when I mean community, you're talking about the Black community, how would you assess the level of appreciation for this month of recognition and celebration?
You know, it's interesting that you ask a question about how do you go about assessing the interest and the activities. What I have noticed in the last, I've been around in Canada for over 30 years, which is, for me, that's a very long time. And there was a time when there wasn't a lot of events. And now I do appreciate that you can't just use events as a measurement, but it's probably the only thing that we have. And I have to go back, we probably can't use it, but it is a source of engagement where we find that a lot of organizations now are asking for facilitators, they are asking for speakers,
Right.
they are wanting to be part of this process, which probably never used to happen.
Yeah.
And we often go back to the event of what happened to what happened to Mr. Floyd.
Yeah.
But we need to also recognize that there was Black history before that. We are all very sorry that he died under the circumstances, but we also recognize that there seems to be a level of, how should I say, consciousness, a level of awareness, where we are recognizing and speaking out more. Most of us never used to speak out.
True.
And our voice have been amplified in the communities around Black history and Black consciousness. Yes.
There is increased awareness, there is increased consciousness, and I totally agree with that. But is it across the generation? So do you see that, in the seniors, in the youngsters, in the, all the different generations? How would you assess that?
Okay, so let me take a step from back and talk about where I sit. As an educator, I am seeing the younger generation speaking up more about the absence of information related to who they are.
Yeah.
Students have said to me over the years, we can't use this textbook because of the language that's been used to describe Black people.
Right.
So I would say that they're speaking up more. But however, there is a part where we also need to have them more involved in associations, in community activities. And I would say that there needs to be a combination between the younger folks and the older generation. And I have to be very careful of how I say older, because I don't really have another word that I could use. But I want to say that for the seniors, that they have a history. And the thing is that I don't think that we have done enough to say thank you. I don't think that we have done enough to even record their work, their history, and what they have done to contribute to the development of Calgary and the rest of Canada.
Yeah.
I actually was watching 60 Minutes last week, Sunday, because that's the day that we get 60 Minutes. And 60 Minutes is a US broadcast that talks about different social issues in the United States. And they were talking about Black history. And what this woman was saying is that they're now trying to get the stories of Black people in the community, people who have been around in the United States for a number of years, people in sports, people in medicine, people in the arts, so that they can archive their story, their verbal stories, and we can use that as a form of training for the young people.
It's interesting you said that, and I want to put a plug in for those watching, because one of the things we're going to focus on this year on What A Gwaan is Windrush 75.
Yes.
The 75th anniversary when, the big ship sailed from the Caribbean, and capturing some of those stories across the generations. In fact, next week, we're going to start our first of many of such discussions. So it's interesting that you bring that into the whole multi-generational view of Black history. because we need to capture these stories. We need to capture it and share it so that we can pass down some of the good things, because sometimes there's this tendency, I want to get your take on it, that Black history only contains bad things. The history is all horrible, which are not true, don't?
Yeah, and over the last few weeks, those are some of the comments that I've heard. Like, you will be in an interview and you ask about the negative. And it's time that we talk about the stories, or support the stories that have contributed to our growth, our development, and who we are as individuals who are successful in the different spheres of our lives. And you talk about Windrush, and I had my grandmother who actually was part of the Windrush, and there were family members who were involved. And that story is not really written down anywhere. And so when you made the comments that, there are so many stories that have gone, is probably just parts of it that's repeated in the family. It needs to be told in a way that it is stored. It can be used as a form of education, because typically what happens is that we hear the stories of other individuals in the community, and we respect that. We honor that. But we also have our own stories that needs to be told. Right. The people who came here in the 1950s, the educators, those who were teaching, those who started a business, because it's because of the work that they have done. And the fact too that they stood up to different groups who did not want us as Black people here, because that's something else that we sometimes don't talk about. We don't recognize that Black people were not expected to be part of the Canadian society. As a matter of fact, there were policies implemented that said no Blacks were allowed. Yeah. The porters who were working on the CP rail, the women who came as domestic workers, the men who worked as farm workers, those are some of the stories that I don't even know if it's captured anywhere. And if it is, it should be positioned in a way that we can hear more of it and we can use it as a way of starting dialogue.
And part of that is why What A Gwaan continues, folks. Our stories, our experiences, that's our tagline. So we can collect them and share them around. One of the things happening in Calgary around Black History Month is an event on the 3rd. You should have seen it earlier when Nicole was talking about it. I want to get a little bit of detail around that, Marva, from you, because Mount Royal University has connected with the community on events like this. Let's talk a little bit about the event and the involvement of Mount Royal.
So a few years ago, just start with the history, when I started teaching at Mount Royal University, I observed that in social work, there was an absence of, full participation of anyone in Black history. And I thought, for social work of all courses or all profession, we need to have a voice at the table. And so we submitted a paper, we asked for funding, and I also connected with individuals in the community to say, you know what, there comes a time, the time is now that we start to have events featuring the Black community in terms, and especially the Caribbean community, in terms of having this event. And so over the last 5 years, and we have to take into consideration that we have had COVID, we're still living in COVID, but we the Mount Royal University contributed to the development and organizing of Black History event. And so on March 4th of this year, we'll be having the event, and the theme is Seeds to Roots, Honoring the Past, Building the Future, where we'll be taking the time to honor individuals who have contributed to the development of the Caribbean communities here in Calgary.
And with that, of course, is a look also on the future. So there's this fusion in the event around all the people who came way back when you never need no visa. And you used to get,
yes,
you used to get that invitation letter.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you came and you made it happen to some of the things that I suppose the youngsters today wouldn't even appreciate. We were talking about earlier how technology has transformed, the appreciation of certain things. How is the event focused on bringing that fusion and displaying it?
And that's an excellent question. So what we're doing, we're going to be focusing on the past. And this is so very important that we also look to the future. So the young people will also be part of that event. And what we're actually planning, because, we always have to plan events, that next year, the focus is going to be on the younger generation. So now we honor the past, we honor the people who have been here, we honor the work that they have done. They have worked in the community, they have contributed to education, they have contributed to business, they have done work in health, they have done so many things. They have also advocated for changes in policies in the way how Black people have been treated here in Calgary and also in Canada. There are lots of people who have marched. And it's not just about marching, but have sat in boardrooms or sat in meetings and spoken up to say, you know what, you have a policy, but it doesn't include me. It doesn't include my community. And so you really have to think about what this policy means when you talk about everybody. So those are some of the things that we need to start thinking about and honoring. And so this event, Seeds to Roots, these are the individuals who came here, planted the seeds, and we are the beneficiaries of the work that they have done. You always hear the phrase, standing on the shoulders of those who have been there before, or standing beside them, or honoring them. There's so many different ways that we can say it. And that's the intent of this event.
Let's segue into the impact of Black History Month celebrations on social issues. We touched on it a little bit earlier. The story of George Floyd made the news and it did the rounds. But the issues remain, Marva. Right?
Yes.
How do we build on this through celebrations like these to bring more voices, to create more policy, or to create more change as we move forward?
Yes. So here's what I have seen and I know about. One of the some of the activities that have been going on is that we have invited individuals in the community, people who are in the industries, whether it's from the police, whether it's from the city, from the university, to sit around the table and to really hear and have an understanding. Now, this is a lot of work. It's not going to happen overnight because you sometimes meet upon resistance. You have the questions, well, we have done A, B, or C, so what's the problem? So you have to keep knocking on those doors, having the dialogue, and actually we have started to see fundamental changes where members of the Caribbean communities are invited to meetings, are consulted on different areas. And I can speak, for example, to education where, I have been asked about the integration of teaching and learning in education around why is it important that whenever we're developing policies that we think about social justice. And by the way, social justice is not about race only. Social justice or Black history. Social justice also has to do with so many different aspects of our life. Poverty, abilities, disabilities, issues around LGBTQ plus issues that we have to have those uncomfortable discussions, a dialogue around spirituality and why we don't talk about spirituality, which is a major factor for Black people in this community when it comes to coping with difficulties. But of course, you have to think about where we are, where sometimes it is, we are a secular society. So we don't talk about spirituality or Christianity. But you know what? Those are the fundamental pieces that have contributed to people coping with difficulties. And it is the piece that they reach out to when they need help.
And we have to apply our bias. Everybody.
Yes, we all have biases. We all have.
And especially Jamaicans. Those are some core pieces to our culture.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And many of our communities have centered around some of these very things that we're still fighting to get recognition and acceptance of, right? All right, listen, let's talk a little bit about the future. Time is ticking and we're going to be done here in a minute.
Yes.
How do you see this celebration and the need for celebration influencing the place of minority groups in particular, especially in places like Calgary, Canada, that I still feel we're going through this evolution of recognition?
That's a very good question. Look, I've always said, let me just back up a little bit. I was teaching a class, I think last year, and in the class, I decided that I was going to do a historical presentation on Black people in Alberta and across Canada. And someone piped up and said, again? And I stopped and I said, I want us to talk about what you have just said and what it means to individuals in this class who are racialized. And I use that as a context to say that we have to keep talking. We have to continue the dialogue. Sometimes it feels hard. And we also have to encourage each other because it is difficult work when it comes to not changing somebody's mindset, but to talk to them about the history that we have gone through, what we have encountered in the different workplace, and why we have to look at policies that have been instituted or that's been institutionalized over the years, where some of us are not accepted, or most of us are not accepted in the major institutions or organizations. So I will say that sometimes you have to do 90% of the work before 10% change. But I sense and I feel that in the future, we have a lot of work to do. And the only way that we're also going to do that is also to involve the young people in terms of, because I find that some of them are very, very angry, and they have a right to be.
Yeah.
They have a right to be, because, I mean, they don't see themselves in the classroom. They're treated disrespectfully out in the social environment. but we can harness that anger and turn it into an opportunity where we start to have those difficult conversations and work through to make changes in the society.
Yeah, and isn't that part of the messaging that we have to continue, though, Marva? Because it's a journey. It's been going on for hundreds of years, and nobody said it was going to end tomorrow. But the thing is, we can't stop.
No, we can't.
It's incremental, and we cannot stop because the system that built itself is not trying to undo itself.
No, and you made a point a while ago that we can't stop. But I'm gonna be very honest with you. Sometimes it can be tiring.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes it can be overwhelming. But and that's part of the reason why we need to reach out to each other so that we can support each other, because we cannot do this work alone. And we also have to acknowledge our non-racialized individuals who have been there to support us over the years, because we sometimes feel that, oh, it's only us Black people doing it. There are lots of people in the community who have recognized and have seen the discrimination, they have seen the unfairness, they have seen the bias, they have seen the judgment, and they've heard it, and their work, and they are willing to come to the table with us and be our allies. And we need to recognize our allyship and use it collaboratively to make changes in the community.
Yeah, well, we're almost done, but I want to just remind people, if you're in Calgary on the 4th of March, so that's next Saturday, starts at 5 o'clock. It's a free event. It's at the Thorncliffe Community Center. I even hear that there's refreshments near the end.
Yes, there is. Yes, yes.
Black people event have food. Is that thing?
Oh no, you have to have food. Come on.
We have to do the food thing. But people, come out if you're in Calgary. Join the discussion. Join the activity. Build on it. Seeds to roots. Honoring the past. Building for the future. One last question before I let you go, because you're a part of the academic setup. Curriculum. How do we get more of the celebration of Black history into what we teach on a daily basis, especially in the tertiary institutions?
You know what we need? We need people like you. We need people in the community. When we establish committees and when we have events, because you know that there's also another event that we're having, because we are going to be talking to Dr. Brad Clark. And one of the discussion that we're talking about is the conversation on journalism, racial reckoning. And you know why? Because there's so much negativity about Black people in the media. And he wrote that book, A Conversation on Racial Reckoning. And he does broadcast studies. So I'm going to be picking his brain and asking him about, the inclusion or non-inclusion of race, Black people, and how they are projected or how they're represented in the media. So to come back to your question, these are some of the things that questions that we need to start asking about people who write about us. What is it? What's your intention? What do you what's the benefit for you for writing? When people come and do research, what's the benefit of doing the research, especially when they come to the Black community to take the information? Does the information come back to us? Those are even some of the questions. But to come back to the curriculum is going to have to change. And even if it's mean one voice, two voices, there has to be some changes, because what we're seeing is the reproduction of too much negativity and too much stereotype. And we don't want to be on page 200. That's the last page of the textbook. We need to be at the beginning. We need to also be in the middle. We also be at the information need to also be positive, to talk about the things that we have been achieving over the years, not about the problem. Because typically, whenever you're seeing the textbook, it's always about the Black community and the problem. No, that needs to change.
and we have done many a great thing. So, folks, if you're in Calgary, like I said, you're invited to come out to the event on the 4th as we, move from seed to roots and work our way through as we honor the past and build on the future. Marva, always a pleasure having you on What A Gwaan. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for bringing Mount Royal along to join with the community to bring out some of these messages. And as always, take care. Walk good. Before we're done, though, I have a minute. Marva is from Jamaica, and earlier we were having a discussion about where in Jamaica she's from. She's from a little town. If you're from St. Mary, it's called Labyrinth.
Metropolis, please.
The metropolis of Labyrinth, but she said it's not Labyrinth. So Marva, help us understand how to pronounce.
It's Labyrinth, Labyrint, and it's near to Gale. And you have to go through Labyrinth to go to Ortreus. So please, it's quite the metropolis, okay?
Marva Ferguson from Labyrinth in St. Mary, Jamaica, assistant professor at Mount Royal University. We appreciate you taking the time to join us here on What A Gwaan. Take care. Walk good.
Okay, my pleasure. Take care too. Bye-bye.
Folks, another event, another day as we reason. We'll be back in a moment. Listen, this has been a great discussion. David, thanks for taking the time. All right. Cool.
Why are you trouble people, Donovan?
I'm not trouble people. May I bring out a message that you wanted to send?
But I'm sure Marva is the only person who spent time to pronounce the T and H.
No, but Marva said we not use H for that at Jamaica. No, we don't use H for that. But is that good reasoning though?
It was a very good reasoning, and me like the fact that you mentioned, that oftentimes when we think about Black history, we always go to the suffering and the victim mentality. We not tend to look on the all the good things, the many good things. And I'm hoping in the conversation that you're going to be having about Windrush, that we'll get to hear how folks from the Caribbean, and I'm not Caribbean, I'm Jamaican, how folks from Jamaica go over to England and help to properly build infrastructure and build a society. So it would be nice.
Yeah. I think it's part of the messaging that we have to get out there, that when we talk about ourselves, right, there is the opportunity to have a balanced perspective of great things, great achievements, and also struggle and challenges, right? It is not just about, slavery and struggle and depression and oppression, right? And all that. So if we can get that across to the generations, then we can make it happen.
Right? Definitely.
So yeah, so we'll keep that going. We'll keep that going.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, listen, I'm going to leave you for finish up your thing. We'll be back again to do it.
All right.
Welcome back to What A Gwaan.
Yes, welcome back.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks, man. All right, folks. So I hope you all learned something if you didn't know much. And again, just to reiterate what Donovan said about the activity that we're having on March 4th, please go out and support the thing. All the Caribbean associations are coming together to celebrate Black History Month. So Seeds to Roots. So remember, at Thorncliffe Community Center here in Calgary. Chuck Sunday, good evening to you. Yes, very good discussion. I totally agree with you. It's always nice to hear, the history and hear the stories that associated with Black history. Luke the boy. Well, all right, Luke the boy. Very engaging and powerful message. Assistant professor and cousin from Jamaica. Yes. Oh, are you actual real cousin or just your makeup cousin? Marley Lewis. That's my son. Happy birthday, Marley. Best show ever. Yes, it is the best show ever. All right. So, is there any comment about the word of the day, mumu or mew mew? Somebody, me really need somebody to pronounce the word there properly for me because me really want to know if I write it, may I say. So nobody, okay, so it's mumu or mew mew. Me want to figure say a Jamaican, so a mumu derives from both the Yo, oh Jesus, or Iwi and Akan language, just like in Jamaican patois, it is used to describe a dumb or foolish person. Lord Jesus. So now me have to go make up so mumu. So I maybe me can say, you see boy a big old mumu. You have to put a exaggerative word before it, one adjective, right? Before it to describe it. So big old mumu. Or as somebody in the background is saying, stop acting like a mumu. But like a foolish person. So remember, if you never learn nothing today or any other time, you learn a new word today. Mumu or mew mew. All right. So that's the patois word of the day. And remember to join us for next week's show as we talk about Windrush 75. We'll be looking at a generation of stories with Miss Marilyn Tapper. So I'm thinking that is going to be a very good conversation to hear how, Caribbean folks contributed to the development of the mother of the what you call it, of England, London. So right in the 1950s, many Caribbean people sailed over. Them time I guess you never have much plane ride. So regular folks like us went on the boat, right? So join us next week. It's the 75th anniversary, and we'll be looking back at an era of struggle, opportunity, and wolipa, a triumph. So we'll be having a good conversation with, I wonder if Miss Marilyn will join us from London, so we can probably pick up some accents. So remember, check us out. Remember to join us and come back and, share the thing with your friends. Also, again, check us out on our different social media platform. Connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on the website. And all of those things are on Facebook. It's What A Gwaan. Take out the A out of what, so it's WHT, and Gwaan at two A in a Gwaan, WGAAN. So connect with us and share, get people to subscribe so What A Gwaan can be truly national. Remember, we're now showcasing on Fresh FM in London, right? So we really take the thing wide. So help us to make it go even further. So again, this is your girl from Bunga Town saying, walk good. See you next week.